Ideally, it's best to have the temperature between 60 and 68 degrees.
Wow, that's cold.
Yeah, I think 65 is the ideal temperature.
Okay.
I used to put it cold. Sometimes I would do like 63, 64, but recently I've been like, okay, I'm spending too much money on AC. So I put it like 67 is normally what I put it at right before I go to bed. Welcome to episode 2 of the Clean Kitchen Podcast. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Kevin.
And today we're going to be talking all about sleep. Kevin, take it away.
Yeah, sleep. It's a loaded topic. There's a lot to get into, so we're going to break it down for you. First, we're going to talk about why it's important, understanding the why behind it. Then we're going to talk about our own experience with sleep, maybe some tips that we've learned along the way. And then we're going to close with some actionable items for you, some tools you can take away from this conversation and apply to your life to see if they help you sleep better. So that's that's the roadmap for today. We're going to get started with the why, though. So
Love it.
I'm going to tee it up here, Kyle. Loaded question.
Yep.
Why is sleep important?
I'm going to use my handy-dandy cheat sheet here, but
go.
sleep is extremely important. And actually, Kevin and I came up with a little acronym to help you remember the 3 main reasons why sleep is so important. So, Kevin, what's one of the first things you think of when you hear the word sleep?
Sleep, REM. REM is the first thing, I think.
REM, because, you know, everyone knows you go to sleep and then you get into REM sleep. What is REM sleep? Well, we're going to tell you. REM stands for, not the REM you know, a different type of REM, stands for rest and recovery. That's the R. Emotional health is the E. And M is more productive. Now, what does this even mean? Well, rest and recovery. During sleep, our body repairs tissues, restores energy, and our immune system is strengthened when we're sleeping. So it's very important for proper brain function. It supports cognitive processes such as memory, consolidation, learning, problem solving. And getting enough quality sleep allows the body and mind to recover from daily activities.
Yep.
Okay? So that's the R, rest and recovery. The E is emotional health. So, and wrapped up in emotional health is also physical and mental health. And it's been proven that people that have poor quality sleep are at a higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease, obesity, diabetes. They have a weakened immune system. And additionally, insufficient sleep can negatively affect mental health and contribute to disorders like anxiety and depression. So another reason why prioritizing sleep is so incredibly important. Okay, so that's emotional health. That's the E in REM. And the M is more productive. So a good night's sleep is vital for performance and productivity. And again, sleep deprivation impairs cognitive function, attention, concentration, and decision-making abilities, all of which are very important, what we need when we're working hard throughout the day.
So that's a lot. That's a lot that we just went through. So let's pause.
That is a lot.
We want to say, okay, you hear the word sleep. What do you think?
REM.
Sleep.
REM.
Sleep.
REM.
Okay, you get it now.
What does it stand for, though?
REM, rest and recovery.
Yes.
Emotional health.
Mm-hmm.
And more productive.
More productive.
Yeah. Basically, what Kyle just said there, in a shorter amount of words, is your body takes a toll during the day, and you need sleep to recover physically, emotionally, and then also to be your best self the next day.
Exactly. Yeah. Moral of the story, sleep is very important.
Extremely important. Okay, so now we have an idea of the why. We want to take care of ourselves, and sleep is the way to do that. I think a lot of us focus on other areas and maybe put sleep last in terms of a priority list. But sleep is important. So how much sleep do you think the average person should get a night?
Based on what I've read and experts that I've listened to, they always say 7 to 9 hours is recommended.
Yes. Everything that we've read is 7 to 9 hours consistently. And do you think you're getting 7 to 9 hours?
I didn't really know because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, when they go to bed and when they wake up, you know, that's the amount of sleep that they're getting.
Yep.
But how long is it taking you to fall asleep? Are you waking up throughout the night? How long are you up for in the middle of the night? So I learned that I really wasn't getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep when I thought that I was. And I found that out after I used my Oura Ring. So a lot of you are probably familiar with Oura Ring. But yeah, so now I am.
Yeah.
But before I was not.
Yeah. And how impactful is it for you to know now how much sleep you're getting? Do you alter your habits because of that knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Short answer, yes.
I go to bed earlier.
Go to bed earlier.
Yeah, I've learned that through the Oura Ring. I've learned that when I go to bed earlier, I get more REM and deep sleep. Yeah. So like me personally, that's like I try to go to bed by 10:30.
Yeah.
But when I do go to bed, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, I get more of that deep sleep and REM sleep, which is very important.
Yeah. One other interesting thing building on that I found in doing some research for this is that when people think about sleep, no one adjusts when they wake up for the most part. They have to be up by a certain time because of work. So the number one factor of how much time you sleep is when you go to bed. And that's the thing we have control over. Most people have to be up at a certain point to be somewhere. Yeah. And so you have to prioritize when you go to bed in order to get that sufficient amount of sleep.
Yeah. And that reminds me, I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago with Dr. Matt Walker. Have you ever heard of him?
I've not.
He's a sleep expert. He literally dedicates his life to sleep, learning about sleep and optimizing sleep. And he said that people set their alarm clocks for when they wake up, but he said we should also be setting alarm clocks for when we go to bed.
I like
because
that.
it's just as important.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
I've never thought about that. Yeah. Have you ever tried that?
No.
No.
Maybe I will, though. I don't know.
If you've tried that, let us know. And let us know if it works, because I'd be very curious.
Yeah.
Huh.
Set an alarm. All right, got to get up, go to bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7 to 9 hours there is the takeaway
Yeah.
of how much sleep you should be getting. So you know when you're going to wake up. So just subtract 7 or 9 hours and back into that and see how that works for you. But just looking at some more kind of data to see how much do people actually sleep. It looks like for the most part, the U.S. actually does a pretty good job with the average amount of sleep time in the U.S. being just under 8 hours. So we do a pretty good job there.
That honestly surprises me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to kind of play the counterpoint to that, we're getting worse. So we used to be better. But it looks like, and I don't know how they got this data.
That's what I was going to ask. How are they getting this?
Yeah.
If there's asking people like, oh yeah, I get same as me before I started actually tracking my sleep. A lot of people probably think they're getting more sleep than they actually are.
That's true. I wonder if they partnered with a Ring or a Whoop.
Okay, yeah.
That would be more interesting.
You used to have a Whoop, right?
I did, yeah.
Did you track your sleep?
I did. I liked it.
And you could tell, how much deep sleep and REM sleep and all that and total sleep you were getting?
Yeah, yes. Really fascinating to see on my phone exactly when I fell asleep.
Yeah.
How many times I woke up during the night. I think that's another shocking thing is that you're not just asleep when you're in bed, you're waking up constantly maybe. Yeah. And so I think we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
But those were some cool insights. For me, I wanted more of it and wanted some action based on those. But I think that just wasn't what the Whoop is designed for. But it seems like we're losing how much time we sleep over the past 100 years. So that's a long time. We've lost about 2 hours of sleep per night.
Wow.
So we used to be sleeping way more. Obviously, there's a lot more to do now in the world than there was 100 years ago. Yeah. So that could play a role. People are on these little things called phones and watching some Netflix. Yeah. So that plays a role. And
we'll talk about the blue light that comes off of those devices.
That's going to be big
in a minute.
Yep. So that's just some general framing around how much we should sleep, how much we're actually sleeping, and where the trend is going.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Bringing the facts today.
Any more fun facts there?
I do. I've got more, but they're for later.
Oh, okay. All right.
No spoilers.
Okay.
Okay. So we've talked about the why, and we've talked about some general statistics around sleep. Now let's get into your habits and maybe even some recommendations that you have.
Yeah. We could even kind of walk through what I do every day to improve and optimize sleep. And a lot of people don't know this, but it actually starts when I wake up. The first thing I do to improve my sleep is the first thing I do when I wake up, which is getting outside and looking at the sun. Why? Because that sets your circadian rhythm, and your circadian rhythm is your internal clock, your internal 24-hour clock. And when you expose your eyes to this sunlight, your body, your brain, your body knows that, it's the morning and it's ready for the day. So
it's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up. That's the first thing I do every single morning.
And you can feel an impact when you do that?
I guess I would say, yeah, I feel like more awake.
Yeah.
Not only, I'd say the main thing I feel is that like the sun is just refreshing and it feels good
Yeah.
on your face if it's a sunny day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the first thing I do. And it's recommended to do that for 10 minutes if it's sunny out. If it's cloudy, then typically a little bit longer.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the very first thing I do upon waking. And it's also recommended, I should say this, you should try to do that within the first 30 minutes to an hour after waking up.
Okay. And why is that?
Oh, why? So why? Just
Why early?
Couldn't tell you.
No.
Couldn't tell you.
It's interesting though, because
I'm no sleep expert.
No, we got no doctors here. When you think about long ago, I'm sure they just woke up and they obviously used the sun to tell what time it was, and they didn't have watches, they didn't have clocks, they didn't have anything like that. And so it's all about using the environment around you and kind of getting back to your roots a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay, so you wake up, you go outside, you get some sun to set your circadian rhythm.
Actually, I lied. That's not the very first thing I do. The first thing I do is take a shower, and when I take a shower, the last couple of minutes, I turn the water all the way cold.
Yeah.
And this has been something I've been doing for probably on and off for the past couple of years, but I've been doing it consistently probably the past 5 or 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Just because I've gotten used to it. But the last 2 to 3 minutes, turn it all the way cold and get some cold water on my entire body. So one, that wakes you up. It releases, let me check my notes here. It increases adrenaline and cortisol and dopamine. And all of these things basically just help you wake up faster. So
it seems like cold plunges are all the rage right now. Everyone's got a cold plunge. Is this
They're hot.
the same idea? I see there's a little pun there. They're hot. They're hot. Like that.
I mean, do you really have a cold plunge unless you post about it on social media?
No. There it is. But
I want one. I want a cold
there
plunge.
It is.
I don't have the room for it though. So the shower works for me now.
Is this the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say there's a lot more benefits to a cold plunge than just those things that I just mentioned. But yeah, I'd say that's definitely part of it.
Okay. And when you started, the first time you did the last minute or so, 2 minutes now, was it just a shock to the system?
Oh, yeah. Instant shock. And you just, I mean, it quite literally just wakes you up.
Yeah.
Like that'll wake you up.
Yeah.
I challenge you. If you have never tried that before, do it. It's actually gotten to the point now, I don't know if it's because it's warmer out, but when I do it now, it doesn't feel as cold as it was. And I don't know if it's because it's warmer or I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
But like I could stand there and be totally fine for minutes upon minutes. But where in the beginning it was like, oh, that's freezing. I can't go more than 10 seconds.
Yeah. So that's the first one. What time would you recommend?
Oh, yeah. Just start slow. Start 10, 15 seconds.
Okay.
And then work your way up. Like even if you just increased it by like 10 seconds every day. Just slowly but surely. There's no need to rush into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a little fun story. A little side story.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
When I first got the townhouse that I was living in, I was showering, and it seemed like the water was always cold, and so I just crank it all the way hot, but it would just be freezing cold, and so I just shower cold, and did that for the first probably week or so, and then our dad came and looked at the shower because I was like, it's just the hot water does not work. I've cranked it all the way over.
Yeah.
Whoever set it up had set it up the wrong way. So for the first 2 weeks, I was unintentionally doing a freezing cold shower.
And
so
you were getting those benefits.
I was getting the benefits.
I bet you felt great.
I did feel great. Felt like a king.
Oh, that's hilarious. Turn it the other way if you're
if you're stuck there, just turn the other way.
Moral of the story there.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna rewind.
Yeah.
You wake up, shower, end of the shower, you do 2 minutes of complete cold water. Then you go outside.
Then I go outside and expose my eyes to sunlight. And not only is getting outside in nature first thing in the morning good for your sleep, but it also is just, in my opinion, relaxing. It's a good way to start the day. I don't when I wake up, the first thing I do isn't grab my phone and look through emails and texts and that sort of thing. I actually don't even try to look at my phone until after I've taken a shower and after I've gone outside. Then I look at my phone. So I think that, yes, it can help improve your sleep by looking at sunlight in the morning, but I think it's just a good way to start your day in general.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people struggle with is looking at your phone immediately. For most people, it's their alarm, and that's a natural reason to look at it. But I think that it does two things. One is it probably doesn't help your body reset because the first thing you're looking at is a fake screen.
Right.
But also, there's most likely just stress waiting for you on that screen, which is not how you want to start your day.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to avoid the phone in the morning.
Avoid the phone, yes. Side tip for you. Okay, so another thing that you can do in the morning to, again, release dopamine and adrenaline is exercising in the morning. And all of this is just a good way. This is more of just kind of waking yourself up. But I personally don't exercise first thing in the morning. I think if you can do that, great. But within the first 3 to 4 hours or so, if you can exercise, again, that's just good. A good healthy thing to do, but also can it help improve your sleep?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a crazy exercise.
No, it could even be going for a walk.
Yep.
Like it doesn't have to be going to the gym and lifting weights.
Yep, exactly. It can be anything. Go grab a friend, grab your dog, whoever, and just go for a quick walk.
Yep. So those are all things in the morning you can do. So recap: cold exposure, morning sunlight, exercise in the morning. So 3 things. And if you focus on them one at a time, I think you'll just get used to them. It'll become a habit. And it's just an easy way to improve your sleep.
Yeah. It's one of those things where people like to say it's simple, but it's not easy.
Right.
The steps themselves aren't complex.
Right.
Anyone can get them done.
Right.
And it takes commitment.
And I do recommend starting with do one at a time. Don't feel like you have to do everything at once if you are wanting to try some of these things for yourself.
Yep. Great point there.
All right. So those are a few things that I do in the morning. Throughout the day, just kind of do my normal thing, filming videos, editing videos, going to the grocery store. You know what it is.
You know how it is.
You know how it is. Actually, I did want to mention one thing about caffeine.
Okay.
So something I've learned recently, and a lot of this information I've learned from Andrew Huberman. He's had, like I mentioned, a sleep expert on his podcast before, Dr. Matt Walker. I highly recommend. If you're into more of the science and learning the nitty-gritty of all of this stuff, I recommend heading over there. But if you kind of just want the actionable tips and the summary from those, you'll get all that here. But caffeine. So Andrew Huberman recommends not having caffeine immediately upon waking, which I know a lot of people do. They wake up and they immediately go for their coffee.
Yep.
But instead, he recommends waiting 90 minutes to 120 minutes, so an hour and a half to 2 hours before consuming caffeine, because there's something called adenosine in our body. Have you ever heard of this?
I think I've only heard of it because of Huberman.
Because he's probably the only one that talks about it. But it makes sense to me. So adenosine, from my understanding, is that throughout the day, adenosine builds up in our body and eventually causes us the more it builds up, the more fatigue and the more tired we get.
Okay.
So caffeine stops adenosine. It blocks that receptor. So instead of having caffeine first thing in the morning, it blocks the adenosine receptor, and then when the caffeine wears off in the afternoon, it's like that adenosine is just like, I don't know, explodes, definitely not the right word, but it basically it's all there, and that's why people have the afternoon crash.
Yeah.
So if you want to try to prevent that, stop drinking caffeine first thing in the morning, wait an hour and a half, 2 hours, and let your I don't even know the science behind it, but I guess you let your adenosine do its thing, and then you have your caffeine, and the crash in the afternoon is going to be mitigated.
Yeah. Instead of naturally waking up, you're providing some sort of artificial pump to your
Exactly.
body to get you going.
Yeah.
And so avoiding that, or at least letting your body wake up first before you pump it up full of caffeine can be helpful.
There you go.
Okay.
Well said.
Well, I mean, I'm just learning from you.
Okay, so that kind of brings me to caffeine, and I was gonna say avoid. Obviously, hopefully, people aren't drinking caffeine right before bed, but you want to avoid caffeine, ideally 8 to 10 hours before bed, because caffeine has a half-life of 6 hours, which means it takes 12 hours to fully get out of your body.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's way longer than I thought.
Yeah. So if you're having, even if you're having coffee at 12 p.m., it's going to be in your system at midnight,
Yeah.
at least a little bit.
Yep.
And obviously, some people are going to have different tolerances to caffeine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And okay, so while we're on the topic of caffeine, do you personally have caffeine? And if so, what's your preferred type of caffeine? Is it coffee, something else?
Yeah. So I go back and forth between coffee and matcha green tea. It's kind of just whatever I'm feeling. I go through these phases where sometimes coffee like starts to upset my stomach a little bit, and then I switch to green tea, and then or matcha green tea, and then I get sick of that, and then I switch back to coffee. So right now I'm drinking coffee.
Okay.
I try to wait. I don't know if I can say I wait 90 minutes every morning, but I do wait at least an hour before having coffee every morning.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm doing these things. I'm showering, going outside, sit outside, sometimes meditating, which we'll talk about in another podcast.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
I love coffee.
Yeah,
I do. I have it
and do you
every
drink
day.
it right? Do you drink it right away?
I depends on the day. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I get up early and I go to the gym, and that's at 5:15. I get up.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I don't have coffee till probably 8 or so. So I'm good there.
Yeah, you're good. You're definitely good
Good
there.
there.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, I don't. I get up and get the day started like I would normally.
Yeah.
And I shower and get ready, and then I go get a cup of coffee. So I'd say that's probably within an hour of waking up on Tuesday, Thursday.
And do you notice if you have an afternoon crash? Tuesday, Thursday versus Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
I
Or
don't.
No?
I generally feel better Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I attribute it to the gym more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to do some sort of controlled experiment
Yeah.
between those two.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Get back to
Yeah.
get back to me on that.
I'll
That's
report back.
interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So most people will start their day with caffeine, whether that's coffee or green matcha tea. But one of my closest friends will swear by naps throughout the day, whether that's a nap
Throughout
or
the
two,
day?
At least
Multiple?
one. At least one, I'd
Wow.
say.
Okay.
I do not take naps. What is the logic behind naps? Are they good for you? Should they be avoided? Talk to me about naps.
I can't say I know a lot about naps,
Okay.
but I have read that a short nap, 15 to 30 minutes,
Yep.
not multiple, afternoon, mid-afternoon, can be beneficial in terms of energizing you. It gives you energy for the rest of the day, and it won't affect your sleep that night.
Okay.
Now, you really don't want to sleep more than 30 minutes, because that's when it starts to affect your sleep that night, and then you can't fall asleep, and then it just kind of snowballs into a bunch of negative effects.
And do you know if it matters where you sleep? Like for most people, they'll go back to bed and get sleep, versus some people will stay on the couch and maybe just take a 15, 20-minute power nap on the couch.
Yeah.
While maybe golf is on in the background.
Yeah. I can't say I know the answer to that.
No.
But I would assume that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're gonna fact check that.
Yeah.
I feel like I read it and I don't know which side it was
Really?
that was better.
That they said maybe, you shouldn't go to your bed if you're going to take a nap.
Yeah, because then it's like, your body thinks for whatever reason that it's time to go to bed.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas like on a couch, it's like, okay, I'm taking a power nap here.
Yep, I could see that.
Yep.
I could see. Do you take naps?
I do not take naps. I
Were
don't know. I
you
was
gonna
gonna
say
say
I hate
them,
naps?
but I hate naps. It's too aggressive.
A nap is good every once in a while. But
Yeah, I don't take naps.
Yeah.
Do you take naps?
No. Very rarely.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, I guess I'm trying to think. Sometimes I will like sit out on the balcony. Like that's later in the evening though, probably 4 or 5 o'clock. Sometimes I'll sit out there for a little while and I'll like close my eyes. I don't know if I would say I actually fall asleep. But it's definitely not for long at all.
No.
If I do.
Just a calmer state, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So naps throughout the day, not bad, but limit them
Mm-hmm.
there. So then the next topic that I think we're going to is alcohol.
Oh no.
So that's a big one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Talk to me about alcohol.
Well, a lot of people drink alcohol before bed, whether that be, a glass of wine or a couple beers or a couple shots of tequila. I don't know what you're into,
Yay.
but a lot of people think, oh, this is helping me fall asleep. This is improving my sleep, when actually science suggests the opposite.
Yeah.
So it is actually disturbing your sleep, and it's ruining your deep sleep or REM sleep. I think it's REM sleep, actually. It's interfering with your REM sleep, which stands for two things: rapid eye movement and the acronym that we talked about earlier.
That's right.
almost got caught there. But yeah. So
Okay.
alcohol, not too good before bed. And I hate to say it, but if you are gonna have alcohol, it's better to have it earlier in the day.
Yeah, I was shocked when I found that out.
I know.
That day drinking is better than going out, maybe having a glass of wine at night.
Crazy, right?
It is.
Do you drink a beer before bed or anything, or?
I don't know, unless I'm out with friends or something.
Right.
I don't have a beer or anything,
Yeah.
but I know a lot of people out there that will just have a glass of wine before bed.
Yeah.
Just casual.
Yeah.
Not looking to turn up,
Yeah.
but it can definitely impact your sleep. So just be careful with it.
Yeah. And I would like to use my I'm sure I can go back and look at nights where I've, had a few drinks and then looked at my Oura ring to see how it affected my sleep. Normally, if I'm having a few drinks, I'm also staying up way past the time I normally go to bed, so I'm already going to have terrible sleep, so it's kind of hard to compare that, but I would like to, maybe have a glass of wine with dinner and then go to bed normally and then see how that affects my REM sleep on my Oura app.
Yep. I think that would be interesting. That's actually one thing I do remember from using Whoop. Every night it gives you a score from 0 to 100 on basically your sleep score, your recovery score. And for most nights I was between 75 to 90. When I had alcohol, I was 0 to 10% recovery.
0 to 10%?
It impacted it that much.
Oh my gosh.
There was one morning that I woke up and it was 1. And it was like, you're probably dead. And I was like, I feel dead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So that put that into perspective for me, how much alcohol impacts your sleep. Because I knew that I didn't feel great.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was that much.
Yeah, that's insane.
It just crushed my sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Drink responsibly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So that's drinking before bed. But one other thing that people do as well is sometimes they'll have a little snack before bed. Does that play a role in your sleep?
If it's not something, if it's not a big meal, something small, I don't think is as big of a deal. It's not going to disturb your sleep that much, but generally, I think it's good to have your last meal 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, just to give your body time to digest. Yeah.
Okay. So that if you're going to bed at 10, look to get that last meal in by 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Is kind of the guidance there. And then maybe a snack is all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I can't say I know a lot about that, but
Yeah.
I actually have there's certain foods that have shown to help improve falling asleep faster and staying asleep. And I want to say that there are actual studies that show this, but I know one for a fact, kiwi has been shown to improve sleep. And I want to say that's when it's eaten maybe like 1 to 2 hours before bed.
Okay.
But obviously you're having like maybe 1 to 2 kiwi, so it's not a lot of food.
Yep.
Pineapple is another one, which I know you don't do well with.
I don't do well with pineapple. Yeah, we covered that last time.
Yeah. Dairy products, so
Good
like
for you.
milk and kefir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grass-fed,
Yeah.
high quality,
Uh-huh.
maybe A2, maybe raw, even if you're going to go that far. Raw
Yeah.
milk can also, I think it was something with helping release serotonin, which then is like the precursor to melatonin. So
Yeah. It's like in a lot of movies, sometimes the character will wander down late at night and have a warm glass of milk because they have trouble sleeping.
Warm. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
It does
sounds
that.
gross.
Yeah.
No, I can't say I've tested any of these foods or drinks out, but yeah.
So when do you have your last meal? And honestly, when do you go to bed too? What's that routine look like?
Yeah. So I try to have my last meal. Of course, today is not going to happen, but it's already 7:30 by the time we're filming this podcast right now. But I try to have my last meal 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
6:37.
And then I go to bed, try to go to bed 10:30. 10 to 10:30.
Yeah.
Really don't try to go past that.
Okay. So that's the cutoff.
And that kind of reminds me too, whether it's the weekday or the weekend, I always try to keep the same sleep schedule because it's just your body, just like you form habits. I mean, your body gets used to the same sleep schedule. So it's good practice to go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every night.
Yep.
Wait, that didn't make
Wake
any
up
sense.
at the same time every night.
Go to bed at the same time every night. Wake up at the same time every morning.
Wake up. Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps your body get in a rhythm.
Yeah. You just get used to it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Body craves repetition.
Exactly.
There it is. Okay. Any other?
Wait, what time do
tips?
you go to bed? I gotta ask you some questions.
Yeah, I'm not consistent at all. Obviously, I just said in the mornings I'm not consistent. If there's a game on, I'm up late.
Yeah.
That gets me every time. Every time. If there's no game on, I can get to sleep by 10:30. But football season,
Yeah.
it's not happening.
Sunday night football, Monday night
Yeah.
football,
Thursday
night football,
Saturday college football.
Oh man.
And then mid-September, the MAC starts, and you get Tuesday night football. So
The what?
The MAC.
What's the MAC?
Shout out MAC.
What's the MAC?
It's a league in college football, like the SEC, ACC, the
Yeah?
MAC. They play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
What?
Yeah,
I've never heard of this.
it's great.
I've never heard of
It's like
this new?
slightly, no, a couple years,
Oh.
slightly above high school football.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, we'll have
When does football season start?
We start mid-August. Yeah, well, well,
Who's we?
us, the people of football.
Mid-August?
Mid-August we
Okay,
start. Yeah,
nice.
we'll get dialed in.
All right.
Okay, so that's bedtime.
Yeah, I would always go to that reminds me. I would always go to bed like halftime
Yeah,
during games. I'd be like, I can't stay up this late.
yeah,
Like I want to watch this, but I can't stay up this late.
yeah. It's a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
I'm not strong enough.
Yeah.
I'm weak.
You love football. It's
I
okay.
do love football.
It's okay.
Okay. Any other tips for either going to bed or staying?
Yeah, so I guess we've kind of covered what to do throughout the day,
Yeah.
but and a couple things to do before bed, but even getting closer to bedtime, a few things that I do as soon as it gets dark out. So here in North Carolina, we're in the summer. Now it's really not getting dark till 8:30, 8:45, even closer to 9 is when it's getting like pitch black.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets dark, I normally turn off all of the lights and I grab my blue light. Let me grab my blue light blocking glasses. Let me show you these things.
For those of you not watching on video, Kyle is now grabbing glasses. And you're going to want to tune in for this on the YouTube channel to see this, because these are truly one-of-a-kind glasses that he has. He FaceTimed me the other night wearing these.
Okay. So these are my blue light blocking glasses. And I also grabbed my Oura ring for those of you that want to see that. I'll put that on for the rest of the show here. So these are my blue light blocking glasses. And just as they sound, they block out all of the blue light from everything.
Okay, what is blue light?
So blue light is just as it sounds. It's blue light.
Smarter already.
And it's coming, and it's most prevalent in our screens, smartphones, TVs, computer screens, iPads, all that. And it basically, when we look at blue light, it sends a signal to our brain and basically says that it's the daytime and that we should be awake, and it suppresses melatonin.
Okay.
So when I put on these blue light blocking glasses, blocks out all the blue light, and my brain and body no longer thinks that it's the daytime. It's now the nighttime, and it's time. And we know, okay, it's time to go to sleep soon.
Okay, so your body starts more naturally shutting down, even if you are still using a phone or watching TV.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's amazing because it's funny. I was in Charlotte a few weeks ago with some of my friends. We were watching the one of the golf tournament. I think it was the Wells Fargo golf tournament, and I brought these. And it was that night. We were tired from the day. We're all sitting around the couch watching TV, And I go in my bag and I just grab them and I just put them on. I don't say anything and I just sit down. And then one of my friends looks, he goes, what are you wearing? I was like, oh, I got my blue light blocking glasses. What do you mean? And I just like said it like it was no big deal. I thought I was being so funny. and he just had no idea. So I explained everything that I just told you just now.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I'm like, here, try them. So I give them to him. He puts them on and he's like, these are incredible. Like he immediately felt like calmer and he can like already felt getting more tired because this was late at night. This was probably 9:30. Wow. And I just, even me, just putting these on and taking off, I'm like, wow, it's so bright. Yeah, put those on. But yeah, it's crazy. So I take them with me.
Wow.
I take them with me everywhere I go. I always take them with me traveling, and I think they're huge. I think it's definitely improved my sleep, and I notice I get tired earlier in the night than I would if I wasn't wearing these.
Do you ever wear them during the day at all?
No, never during the day.
Okay.
No.
These are just at night.
Just at night. I don't touch these until the sun is fully down and it's pretty dark outside.
Okay.
So all the lights go off, blue light blocking glasses come on when the sun goes down.
Okay. Got it. And then right before bed, you just take them off and that's it.
Literally, yeah. Lay down in bed, and the last thing I do before I go to bed is take off the glasses.
Okay.
And that's when I go to bed.
I like it. Okay. So following on that, I've got a couple fun facts for you.
Oh, yes.
So
I was waiting for these.
Yeah. Teased them earlier.
Yeah,
Here they are.
You did tease them.
So screen time before bed is huge, especially in the U.S. So I've got a couple fun facts here. 3 out of 4 Americans watch TV within an hour of bedtime. I'm guilty of. I'm one of those 3.
Oh yeah, I mean I am too.
Yeah, and that can be horrible for you.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not wearing blue light glasses. There you go. Okay, so that's one. And then even once you go to bed, people take their phones with them.
Yes.
62% of American children and teenagers are taking their cell phones to bed. So almost 2 out of 3 are taking their phone with them to bed, and they're playing on TikTok,
like probably,
Instagram.
Yeah, scrolling through stuff.
Exactly.
Before bed. And that's probably even worse because, you're having that light so close to your face right before you go to bed, as opposed to even watching TV. There's some distance between your eyes and the screen. But yeah, that can't be good.
Not good. Especially, I'm sure in kids when you're still growing, developing.
Yeah.
You gotta cut that out as much as you can. I know it's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But hey, get some blue light blocking glasses. That's a good first step.
That's true. Baby steps. Yeah. Okay, so that's screen time before bed. So then one other factor that can play a role in your sleep is actually the temperature. A lot of people like to be warm in bed. A lot of people like to be cold. What's ideal?
So our body actually needs to drop, I think it's 1 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature in order to fall asleep and stay asleep. So that's why it's much easier to fall asleep in a colder room than a warmer room. Have you experienced that?
Yes, I like it cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as most people do. Ideally, it's best to have the temperature between 60 and 68 degrees.
Wow, that's cold.
Yeah, I think 65 is the ideal temperature.
Okay.
I used to put it cold. Sometimes I would do like 63, 64, but recently I've been like, okay, I'm spending too much money, obviously. So I put it like 67 is normally what I put it at right before I go to bed, or like an hour before I go to bed. I'll turn it so it's nice and cold by the time I get into bed.
Okay, and then that also helps your body. I guess, how does that help your body if it's colder?
How does it?
Why is that?
I can't tell you. I don't know the science behind it, but for some reason our bodies need to be colder in order to fall asleep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is something I've never heard.
When it's hot out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot fall asleep at all. No, it kills me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more I hate than a hot room trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable.
It's the worst.
Yeah. At least if you're cold,
it gets me angry just talking about it.
I see it in this room. At least if you're cold, you bundle up and you kind of power through.
Exactly.
Hot,
you're just like,
no good.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've given a ton of tools here that people can use. But what if none of that works?
Well, first of all, I feel like we should say how much money do
Oh.
all of those things cost that I just said?
I like this.
How much money?
Besides the blue light glasses, nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
That's it.
So it doesn't take a lot of money for people to improve their sleep. Now, if you try all of these things and nothing works, you're not falling asleep faster, you're not staying asleep, you're not waking up feeling rested, there are some supplements you can take, but I would not suggest these being the first thing you try. I suggest going through all of those other things before you try the supplements.
Okay.
But there are certain things like magnesium threonate, and again, a lot of these suggestions are from Andrew Huberman and a few other experts. But magnesium is very important for kind of calming you down. It kind of has a synergistic effect, I think is the right word, where magnesium can help energize you when you need to be energized, but also calm you when you need to be calmed.
Okay.
Am I using that word correctly there? Okay. So magnesium threonate specifically, I know it affects your brain somehow. It crosses the blood-brain barrier where other forms of magnesium don't. And in studies has shown to help people fall asleep and stay asleep.
Okay.
So that's the first one I would recommend, and most people are deficient in magnesium, so that's just a good thing to take anyway. L-theanine is another one, and this is actually, L-theanine is naturally found in matcha, green tea. I talk about this all the time when I have my morning matcha, but again, it naturally calms you.
Okay.
So,
is there any non-caffeinated green tea?
No, I think all green tea has caffeine.
Okay.
I mean, there's herbal teas that don't have caffeine, and that actually reminds me, chamomile tea is something people drink before bed because it helps calm you. So that's
There's an alternative.
another thing to, yeah. And then there's something called apigenin, which honestly I have no idea what it is. I just got it from Andrew Huberman.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll link to his notes in our notes.
Yeah. He actually does have he has like a whole article about a lot of this stuff kind of summarized. So yeah, we can link that. But yeah, go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. I already touched that. So yeah. Oh, the last note that I wanted to mention, which I have not tried this personally, but I definitely will if this happens to me. If you can't fall asleep, if you lay down, you can't fall asleep in the first 15 minutes, get up, get out of bed, go to a different room and do something boring, basically. So read a book, deep breathing. I don't really know what else you can do. They don't recommend like scrolling through social media or anything.
No, that probably doesn't help.
I don't know what else you can even do. You
count. Normally counting.
Count.
Like count sheep is always the go-to.
Yeah, and then when you finally do feel tired, that you're ready to go to bed, then go back in your bed.
Okay.
And try to go to sleep.
So leaving actually helps.
Yeah, because if you go to your bed and a lot of people, including myself, they have all these thoughts. As soon as their head hits the pillow, they have all these thoughts. They're thinking about the day that just happened or the day ahead, and you're training your body to do that when you lay down. So you're saying, so by you getting up and going to a different room, you're telling yourself, okay, nope, we're not going to do that. Our bed is the place to sleep. Let's go out to a different room. Let's get tired. And then when we're ready to fall asleep, then we go back into our bed.
Wow. It's amazing subconsciously how much you can basically train yourself by doing just a few little actions.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Very, very cool.
It is.
Okay. I love that. All right.
You've never tried that.
I've never tried that.
No, me either. I want to. I will.
Do you have trouble falling asleep?
Some nights I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if I have something big coming up the next day.
Yep.
That's when I notice it the most.
Yeah. That's all you're thinking about.
That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like stuck in my head, and I don't even feel tired.
Yeah.
So
just replaying over and over.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do there.
All the what ifs.
Yeah.
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 Well, I guess there is something I can do now. I can get up out of bed and do something boring.
It's true.
I'll try that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've gone through a lot today.
We have.
We've talked about why sleep's important, namely our REM acronym.
REM.
Remind the people.
Rest and recovery, emotional health, and more productivity. I almost had it.
All right. So when you think sleep, you'll think
REM.
Okay, and there we go. That's what you need to remember. Then we gave a ton of tools with what you can do to help improve sleep. And Kyle's point there is don't do them all at once. Take them one by one and see how it impacts you.
Yep.
And then if none of that works, all those tools, there are some additional steps that you can take. But those are more seen as maybe a second option.
Yes.
And so maybe just kind of closing this out, people have an interesting relationship with sleep. Maybe do you have any thoughts on how people view sleep in general?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, and I absolutely used to think this way, is, oh, I have to go to sleep. I have to sleep. Where if we turn that, and this is something I try to do with a lot of things, is say, no, I get to sleep. And I mean, we talked about all of those things that happens when we're sleeping. So you've probably heard this analogy before, but if I had a prescription drug to give you that improved all those things that we talked about earlier, improving your immune system, decreasing the risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, obesity, all of those things, you would probably take it immediately. Well, truth is, sleep does all of those things. So I think we have to switch our perspective and almost think sleep is medicine. A lot of people say food is medicine. Very true. But sleep is also medicine.
I love that. Yeah. And that's where we're going to end it today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hopefully you learned something about sleep, have some takeaways, some action items there. Yeah. Anything you want to close on, Kyle?
If we missed anything, leave a comment. Let us know. Let us know if any future video you want to see, podcast topic you want to see in the future. As always, like, comment, subscribe.
How'd that feel coming out the first time?
But hey, seriously, if this episode helped you, please share it with a friend. Yeah, thank you so much. That's episode 2. We will see you next week in episode 3.
Thanks, everyone.
Nice.
All right.
Like, comments.
All right, so that's how most people start their days, with some sort of caffeine. But one of my closest friends swears by naps. I do not take naps. What's going on?
I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing. We're good.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so that's how most... Dang it. We're getting it back on track.